Hi guys, so in today's video we're going to be talking a little bit more about UCF housing. We are in March. Most people graduate in May or around that time. People are starting to look at where they're going to live for the next semester entering into college. I am a student at the University of Central Florida. I'm 20 years old and I'm soon to be a senior. Technically, right now I'm a junior with the credits. Today I wanted to do a breakdown of all the UCF housing options that we have available. There is the new UCF downtown campus, which I'm looking into because it's beautiful. It opens August of 2019, so at the beginning of the fall semester. So the building consists of a living space all the way up to the top floor, and then everything below that is classrooms. You have the dorms on campus, and there's multiple different styles, and then you have off-campus living, and you also have Greek house living on campus. So personally, I have lived in about 3 of those. I lived in the dorms my freshman year. My sophomore year, I lived off campus at an off-campus apartment. My junior year, the first semester, I lived inside of my sorority house, which was off of Delta Pi. So let's start with dorm style. My freshman year, I lived in Nike, both Nike and Hercules dorms. I lived in Nike for the summer semester because I did enter in the summer, and then I lived in Hercules for my fall semester of my freshman year. Both times they were in shared rooms and I had a roomie. Most of the dorms at UCF are labeled after Greek gods, so it's really cool. We have Apollo, Nike, Hercules, Libra, you know, Greek Odyssey vibes. So I thought that was really cool, and it kind of helps you differentiate between the different dorm styles. I'm gonna first talk about the 2 that I lived in, Hercules and Nike. Both of those dorm buildings are right next to the gym and right next to the pool, which was really great. I never could make an excuse not to work out because I could literally walk 5 minutes to the gym that's available to all UCF students. Parking for those areas is first come, first serve. They do have parking by the basketball courts, which is going to be kind of behind those dorms, and then they also have another section of parking in the front. It just kind of depends on whoever's there first gets the first spots. The spots aren't assigned. And there is also a parking garage next to those dorms as well. It's about 5 or 6 stories or more. So a lot of parking, but just remember, if you're not parking in the very front and you're parking in the garage, you're gonna have to do a lot of walking. So that was one thing that was kind of annoying. Like, say at night you go visit a friend, you come home to park in the garage by yourself, and then you have to like walk maybe like 6 minutes to get to your dorm. It's not far at all, but it does involve walking versus if you were to park in the front area parking. You do receive help with move-in. I know in the summer I was considering rushing, so I moved in early for recruitment. If you do a volunteer to help with move-in, your early move-in fee is waived. So that's what I did. I didn't have to pay to move in early because I helped volunteer, and you know, it just helped a few people bring their stuff in. They're not really monitoring you that much, but as long as you're doing something, they'll go ahead and waive that fee for you. You do have an RA on the bottoms of both of the buildings. It's an RA office, so you can go in and they can help you with lockouts, something's missing, you can't find a friend, or the cleaning lady hasn't come to clean your dorm for that week. You go to them with all of your issues and they know who to reach out to and who to get in touch with to help you solve the problem. I was locked out a few times because at that time I had my dorm key attached to my car keys. So say if my friend was picking me up or something and I forgot that I wasn't driving, so I wouldn't bring my keys, and I would forget that my dorm keys were attached to my car keys. So sometimes I did have to go to the RA office, and like I said, you're gonna have other instances where you're gonna have to go to the RA office if your roommate's not in the room and you need to get back in. So they were very helpful to me. I always remember them being super helpful, and move in and move out was very quick, easy, and smooth. And they are all students. Within Hercules and Nike, when I lived there, we did have kind of like a maid, a cleaning lady that would come in every week and just do basic cleaning. So meaning she'll vacuum your floor, so she'll wipe down the bathroom and the sink area as long as it's not cluttered. So if you have 10,000 things on your counter, she's not gonna wipe it. If you have 10,000 things on your floor, she's not gonna wipe it or vacuum anything up because you didn't give her space to do that. But she does come on the same day of every week, so you kind of know when to tidy up a little bit so she knows you want it to be cleaned. In those dorms, we also shared a bathroom, so it was kind of like a suite style. And then all 4 people shared one single bathroom. In the bathroom, there was no mirror or anything. It was simply just the shower and the toilet. The mirror and all that stuff is going to be in your own personal room. And each room there is a closet. It's split in half between you and your roommate, so you get one side, your roommate gets the other side. You do have to bring a rod and a curtain if you want it to close. I know a lot of people leave it open now because nobody really cares about how that looks, so you don't really spend much time in your dorm. You have that option. It's a good amount of space, especially you can really make room. If you go to IKEA, you can buy kind of the cubby style holders for shoes or t-shirts or anything like that. So I remember I went to IKEA, I bought the little compartment that you can hang on the rod, and I actually put my outfit for each day of classes in each cubby. So it was a lot easier for me to get ready in the morning in a shared room. When you first move in, you do sign a roommate agreement. What you want, what you don't want, how things are going to work with your roommate. The RA's job is to schedule a meeting with you. Yourself, your roommate, and your RA usually will all meet in the common area. You guys will go over that agreement together. It's not strict by any means. If you want to change it, then you can. It just all depends on communication with your roommate. The common room consists of a desk, a couch, and kind of like a kitchen area where there's a microwave. I would suggest having a microwave and a mini fridge in your own room personally. People don't keep the one in the common area that clean. Both Nike and Hercules are co-ed dorm style buildings, which means you might have girls on one end of the hallway and then there's the elevator in the middle. And then on the other end, you have guys. You're never gonna have girls and guys in the same hallway, but you will have them on the same floor and in the same building. I had some issues. There was like issues with cockroaches, never in the rooms. Whenever I would go down the back stairs, I would always see like these huge cockroaches. And I just feel like Orlando has a cockroach problem in general because you'll see them in classrooms. I saw them in a classroom once. I saw them in the back of the dorms. There was some at my apartment before they came in and sprayed. So I think that's an all-around Orlando thing. It's not a big issue, but that was something that I noticed specifically in the dorms, that there were cockroaches on those stairs when I was walking down to go to class. And they fly too. So then you have the Lake Claire community. So these are going to be apartment style dorms on campus. They're also very close to the student union, walking distance. And if you're a communications student, they're right next to the Nicholson building. They do have a kitchen and a living room area, but they are also still kind of shared. You can do a private room, but you're going to have roommates. And then they are a little bit older as well. Libra. So I don't know much about Libra because I don't have really any friends who live there. I've been in the dorms a few times just to like drop people off and stuff. They are a bit older, they're a little bit bigger, and they're kind of more in the middle of campus. Then you have Neptune. So those are going to be very similar towers, single room dorms. They're a little bit more expensive than Nike and Hercules. With the Neptune, I did have a few friends that lived in there. It's going to be a little bit smaller than Towers, but same concept. Towers is where most of the athletes live. Football players, basketball players, everybody on scholarship, their free living is in Towers just because it's close to the building where they're required to go do their study hours, and it's close to like the baseball field and the stadium and everything they need to be on a sports scholarship. There's also dining in little other areas. I know there's Dunkin' Donuts. The CFU Arena is next to Towers. Then you also have the Rosen campus apartments, mostly for hospitality majors. I'm pretty sure any UCF student can live there, but it's geared towards hospitality majors because the Rosen campus is not on the UCF campus. It's a little bit further away. Sorority House living is also another option on campus. You don't have to be in a sorority to live in these sorority houses for the summer. Kappa Alpha Theta, Alpha Epsilon Phi, Kappa Kappa Gamma, and Chi Omega are actually all private owned properties owned by UCF, which means that incoming students can actually live in a shared room in a sorority house during the summer. I wouldn't recommend this if you're a freshman and you're planning on rushing. I don't know if they let you do that if you're planning on rushing, something that you'd have to look into separately. The two things I really liked about living in the sorority house was the free parking. We never had to pay for parking because we got our own spot as a house girl if you live there, and it's also on campus. Next, I want to talk a little bit about off-campus housing. So my sophomore year of college, I did live in the Villages of Science Drive, which is an off-campus apartment complex. I really liked it. It's in a weird area. You have really nice Village of Science Drive apartments, but then across the street you have like run-down weird homes. So I thought it was a little bit odd, the placement of the complex, but it was a nice community. It's not gated or anything. It's a college apartment apartment style community. In general, off-campus apartment style living is going to range anywhere from $500 to $800 and up, depending on where you decide to stay. But most of the living spaces are between $500 and $800. Some of the rent fees monthly include overages and utilities, but some of them don't. So that is also another question you have to ask when you're touring these houses and going through the leasing process. The prices for off-campus living in an apartment style community have gone up throughout the years since my freshman year. I think it's just because UCF is becoming a little more prevalent in the college search, especially with how well our football team has done the past 2 years. As UCF is on the come up, the prices are going to be on the come up as well. Some of your rent fees do include parking. Some apartment complexes don't offer parking as like an included thing, so you have to pay separately for a parking space. Sometimes you can work out a deal if you apply early, so it all just kind of depends who you're leasing with, who you're talking to, and compromise basically, and when you're applying for your lease. I really like the Villages of Science Drive just because it was huge. I had my own bathroom, I had a walk-in closet, I had a desk area, like it was huge. You have a living room, a lot of space for a really good price, but it was also in the back of the campus, so whenever I had a class on campus, I would take the back way, which means that I skipped a lot of the traffic involved into just getting to campus, not even getting on campus. I know another popular place to live off campus is the Station. A lot of people in Greek life live at the Station if that's something that is important to you or something that you're interested in doing, rushing. So if you're signing a lease, expect to see people in fraternities and sororities all the time. If you're in one, expect to always be seeing people, seeing someone that you know there. They are cottage style as well, so they're really nice. Every time I go into that neighborhood, because I have friends that live there, it's a very clean environment, clean cut, nice, kind of reminds me of like a suburb a little bit, but like college style apartment complex version. It's very hard to find parking there. In the middle, they have like a parking building, and then they also have single spots, but it's kind of just first come, first serve, especially when you have guests over for pregame to go out, a party or anything. It's a little bit harder to find parking. Then you have Plaza, which is another popular off-campus living spot. It's right across from the campus, and it also has a bunch of restaurants on the bottom floor of the building. So I know they have Bar Louie, Menchie's, McDonald's, Bento, all that stuff. It's really close to the bars, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. I know people who have coming from the bars, they try to walk home and it's not safe crossing the street from that area. So it just kind of depends on what you choose to do. There have been incidents where students have been hit by cars coming from a bar drunk trying to get back to their apartment at Plaza. So just something to be aware of. When going into a lease, I would just ask about how fines works, how utilities work. When I lived in Villages of Science Drive, I remember breaking my soap dish and they fixed it for me free of charge. In the beginning, I had a tiny bit of a roach problem and I just called and asked them to spray. After that, everything was fixed. I had leftover paint from this color in my room, so I also did use that paint to paint one of the rooms in my apartment at Villages. The only thing is you have to change it back when you move out. You can kind of personalize your room. I put up little shelves on the wall also to put big picture frames, and I decorated my room really nicely. In terms of finding a roommate, there's different UCF Facebook communities. There's also a UCF roommate search website, and then you also have Roomsurf, which is what's recommended by UCF. You go on, you create a profile, you talk about your dislikes, likes, you can take a test for some of them, and it matches you up with other people. So it'll show you the percentage that you're likely to like get along and live together well. Roomsurf, I've noticed, is not so good for people that are older. I see mostly freshmen on there. I was looking for a roommate for my living situation next fall. I went back and updated my profile on there, but it is mostly freshmen. Even just going on Facebook under your UCF class year and literally typing up a post, hey, looking for a roommate, looking to live in 404 apartment here at this place, this is the rent amount. And you will have people reach out to you through that and also through social media. So I got through everything. I will leave all the links to UCF Housing down below and other resourceful links. If you guys have any questions, be sure to comment, and I hope you guys all have a great week. Bye-bye.